Tamala Toma test and during lines and angle we are going to discuss parallel lines. So parallel lines first we'll discuss what are intersecting lines. When two lines intersect at a distinct point, that these two lines are called intersecting lines. And the second one is the opposite of intersecting lines is parallel lines. If two lines do not intersect at all, then we call these two lines parallel lines or non-intersecting lines. So intersecting lines and parallel lines, if the two or more lines are intersected by a third line, that line is called transversal. So today we shall discuss mainly on parallel lines. So I have given here two lines, line M and L. These two lines are parallel to each other and they are intersected by a third line, line L. Now this line L, as I said earlier, is the transversal. So when the transversal intersects the given two parallel lines, you can see it forms eight angles. And each of these angles can be paired up in different ways. So first, let's see, angle 1 and angle 5. It's one paired. Angle 2 can be paired with angle 6. Angle 4 can be paired up with angle 8. And angle 3 can be paired up with angle 7. So we get 4 different pairs of angles. And these angles are called pair of corresponding angles. Now the question is, how do we know that they are corresponding pair of corresponding angles? Now if you closely look at these pairs of angles, you will come to notice that, for example, look at this angle 1 and angle 5. Angle 1 and angle 5, you observe these in these pairs of angles, you'll find one angle is on the first line and the second angle is on the second line. So if you observe carefully, you'll find that angle 1 is on top of line M, and then angle 5 is also on top of line N. And second, both these angles are on the same side of the transversal. So corresponding angles are formed on the same direction. First, if one angle is formed on the top of the first line, the second angle is also formed on the top of the second angle. Line corresponding angle there. Angle angle line toil any transversal angle 5 line angle 5 line M any transversal direction. Similarly, angle 2 is on the right hand side. Angle 6 is also on the right hand side of line L. And then angle 2 is on top of the given line, first line. Angle 6 is also on the top of the line, the second line. So direction jigway. Similarly, this is the same case. Angle 4 on the left hand side, so 8 is also on the left hand side. Angle 4 is on the bottom of the given line, angle 8 is on the bottom, and similar is the case. So corresponding angles you'll find on the same side, on the same direction of the given lines, corresponding the first pair of corresponding angle. And the second one is a pair of alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles. For example, look at angle 3. Angle 3 is paired with angle 5. And angle 4 is paired with angle 6. Alternate lana angle nija like direction opposite la de. Check line chik thol yevna khoi gi pair line ni with gala yo leg. Check the direction ni dashi geuda. For example, angle sumba the line ki yo doa khoi khap de angle ngaba line ki gang doa. Dine angle 3 di ye chol doa, angle 5 di yun chol yer. Takta de angle 3 and 5, and similarly angle 4 and opposite takta ki. Chik ye chol yer na shenda di yun chol. Chik line ki thogal yer na shenda di line ki yol lead. So these two are interior angle. Of course, we also have pair of exterior alternate exterior angle. Now we are not going to discuss with that, but let me show you. Angle exterior angle ki angle 1 the angle 7 exterior pair of exterior angles, and then angle 2 and angle 8. Technique nanglo yene interior je, technique chulo yene exterior. And then the last one is if you look, you'll find at the diagram, you'll find angle 3, 4, 5 and 6 are between the two given parallel lines. So these are interior angles. Now if you add, we paired with angle 3 and angle 6. So if we add angle 3 and angle 6, you get a result. Similarly, if you add angle 4 and angle 5, you get another result. You will get same result provided or if these two given lines are parallel to each other. So if line M is parallel to N, then sum of interior angles, angle 3 and angle 6, if you look at angle 3 and 6 are on the same side of the transversal. Interior angles on the same side of a triangle, and angle 4 and 5 are also on the same side, the left hand side. 3 and 6 are on the right hand side. If these two lines are parallel, then their sum is equal to 180 degree. We call it supplementary. Now there's a difference between linear pair and supplementary angles. Of course, in the case of linear pair, the sum of the two adjacent angles is 180 degrees. Supplementary angles means any two given angles, they may not be adjacent. So if you look at angle 3 and 6, they are not adjacent angles, but then their sum is 180 degree. Any sum of any two angles, if the sum is 180 degree, we call it supplementary, a pair of supplementary angles. And linear pair is different. In the case of linear pair, both the angles should be adjacent, pair of adjacent angles. Okay. Now coming to parallel lines, if the two given lines are parallel to each other and intersected by a third line, which is called transversal, then pair of corresponding angles will be equal to each other. So that is the first result that we'll get. If line M is parallel to N, then angle 1 is equal to angle 5, and angle 2 is equal to angle 6, angle 4 is equal to angle 8, and angle 3 is equal to angle 7. So this is the first result. We call it axiom. Now, axioms are statements where we do not need to prove the result, right? It's a universal fact. And so the first axiom is, if two lines, parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, then the pair of corresponding angles should be equal to each other. Any one of them. If any one of them is equal to each other, then all of them will be automatically equal to each other. So that is the first. And the converse of the result is, if two lines are intersected by a transversal, and if a pair of corresponding angles, for example, in this case, if these two lines, we don't state that these two lines are parallel, we say just these two lines. If these two lines are intersected by a third line transversal, if any one a pair of corresponding angle is equal, then the two lines will be parallel to each other. So that is the converse. So we have corresponding angles axiom and converse of corresponding angles axiom. So we have two axioms, and based on these two axioms, will create four more theorems. So we discussed two axioms, corresponding angles axiom and converse of corresponding angles axiom. So when you look at these two axioms, one axiom is converse of the other axiom, and in every converse statement you will find that given and to proof will change. So the first axiom, corresponding angles axiom. In corresponding angles axiom, you'll be given that two lines are parallel, and if two lines are parallel, then pair of corresponding angles are equal. That is the first one. And the converse of this axiom, in the converse will not state the two given lines are parallel, but if two lines are intersected, M and N are intersected by a third line, say in this case L, and a pair of corresponding angles are equal. So let's take angle 1 is equal to angle 5. These are pair of corresponding angles. Then what we can conclude? We can conclude the two given lines M and N are parallel to each other. Okay, so this is the these are the two axioms. First axiom is corresponding angles axiom. Second is the converse of corresponding angles axiom. Based on these two axioms, we'll try to find some other result. So the first result or theorem. Now we're not going to go into the details of the theorem, but let's see. Look, if line M is parallel to N, right, and then what we can conclude? We can conclude that pair of alternate interior angles are equal. That means pair of alternate angles in this diagram, angle 3 will be equal to angle 5, angle 4 will be equal to angle 6. Let's have a quick look at the proof, right? We have to show that angle 3 is equal to angle 5, right? Since the two given lines are parallel to each other, the pair of corresponding angles should be equal to each other. So let's say angle 1 is equal to angle 5. Angle 1 is equal to angle 5. Corresponding angles. Excellent. Why? Because the two given lines are parallel, so pair of corresponding angles should be equal to each other. So angle 1 is equal to angle 2. And then second one is angle 1 is also equal to angle 3. Why? Because in the property of intersecting line, we discussed that if two lines intersect each other, then the pair of vertically opposite angles are equal. So vertically opposite angles are equal. So angle 1 is equal to angle 5. Angle 3 is angle 1 is also equal to angle 3. So therefore, angle 3 is equal to angle 5. And these two angles will form a pair of alternate interior angles, right? So if two lines are parallel, then pair of alternate interior angles are also equal. So we can also conclude that angle 4 will be also equal to angle 6. So in this case, in the case of pair of alternate interior angles, we also have two theorems. One theorem is converse of the other angle. One is if two lines are parallel, then the pair of alternate interior angles are equal. The second one is if two lines are intersected by a third line, and if a pair of alternate interior angles are equal, then the two lines are parallel to each other. So this is the theorem on pair of alternate interior angles. And the third one is, as we discussed earlier, I directly stated that if two lines are parallel, then the sum of interior angles on the same side of the transversal will be supplementary. The sum will be 180 degree. So if in this case M is parallel to N and intersected by transversal L, then angle 3 plus angle 6 is equal to 180 degree, and angle 4 plus angle 5 will also be equal to 180 degree. We also say call these two right pair of interior angles on the same side of the transversal as co-interior angles or allied angles, right? Allied angles. Sum of allied angles or sum of co-interior angles is equal to 180 degrees. So we state in two different ways. If two lines are parallel and intersected by a third line, then the sum of interior angles on the same side of the transversal is supplementary. Or we can state in another way, if two lines are intersected by a third line and if the sum of interior angles on the same side of the transversal is 180 degree, then the two given lines will be parallel to each other. So this is the gist of today's lesson, and we'll discuss 2 or 3 questions. Okay, now we shall discuss 2 questions. Now in this figure, you are given line AB and CD intersected by a third line, let's say L. And two values of 2 angles are given, angle 50 degree and angle 130 degree. And we have to find the value of X and Y, and then show that AB is parallel to CD. Now first of all, let's look at this. We discussed in earlier lesson that if 2 lines intersect each other, then the pair of vertically opposite angles are equal. So angle Y and 130 degree, they are vertically opposite. So Y is equal to 130 degree. And then second, we also learned linear pair axiom. So sum of these 2 angles will be equal to 180 degrees. So the first, let's look at this one. This, let's say, point of intersection, this be P and this be Q. Now ray PB stands on this line. So the sum of these 2 ray PB stands on line L, therefore X plus 150 degree is equal to 180 degree. They form a linear pair. Okay, so or X is equal to 180 degree minus 50 degree, which is equal to 130 degree. So therefore X is equal to 130 degree, right? And then CD, line CD intersects line L, therefore Y is equal to 130 degree. They form a pair of vertically opposite angles. Okay, so this is 130 degree and this is also 130 degree. Now if you closely look, these 2 angles form a pair of corresponding angles, and if a pair of corresponding angles are equal, then the 2 lines will be parallel to each other, right? Since angle X is equal to, now we write it like, instead of angle X, we write it like this. Since angle BPQ is equal to angle DQ, right, let's say point R, DQR, therefore AB is parallel to CD. They form corresponding angles, a pair of corresponding angles. And if a pair of corresponding angles are equal, then the two given line will be parallel to each other. So this is corresponding angles exom. Okay, so this is the first solution to the first question. So in the second question, you are given that PQ is parallel to RS and angle MXQ is equal to 135 degree and angle MYR is equal to 40 degree. We have to find angle XMY, this angle. So for this, what we do is we'll try to construct or draw a line. Let's say line AB, draw line AB passing through M and parallel to PQ. That is, AB is parallel to PQ. Okay. So what happens? These two lines form lines parallel to each other. These two lines are parallel, and if these two lines are parallel, since AB is parallel to PQ, then this angle XMB, let's say this angle is, let's call it angle 1. Then angle 1 plus this angle, the given angle QXM is 135 degree, is equal to 180 degree. This is the result we discussed earlier. That is, if two lines are parallel, sum of interior angles on the same side of the transversal is 180 degree. Okay, so that means angle 1 is equal to 180 degree minus 135 degree, which comes at around 45 degrees. So angle 1 is 45 degree, right? Now if you look here, PQ, line PQ is parallel to RS. This is given in the question. And PQ is also parallel to AB. We made them parallel to each other. That is by construction. So therefore, AB is also parallel to RS, which means two lines parallel to the same line will automatically be parallel to each other. So if these two lines are parallel to each other, then these two angles form a pair of alternate angles. So these two angles will be equal. Let's say this angle is angle 2. So then angle 2 is equal to 40 degree, and these two angles are pair of alternate angles, right? Now what we need to find, we need to find the value of this angle XMY. Thus angle XMY is equal to angle 1 plus angle 2. So we can angle 1 plus angle 2, and angle 1 plus 2, angle 1 is 45 degree plus angle 2 is 40 degree. So it's equal to 85 degree, right? Hence, value of angle XMY is equal to 85 degree. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.